When it comes to cruising, MSC's Yacht Club is like stepping into a private luxury resort that just happens to be sitting on top of a massive cruise ship. On my recent sailing aboard the MSC Seashore right out of Port Canaveral, Florida, well, I experienced the Yacht Club firsthand. And let me tell you, it felt like discovering the secret menu of cruising. If you've ever wondered whether the Yacht Club extra charge is worth it, or what makes it totally different, or what you should expect in general, well, this guide is going to break it all down for you. As a first-time MSC cruiser, I started with the very top of experiences that MSC has to offer on board their American ships. I'm the solo cruiser Wade Heath, and if you feel my reporting and perspective bring you any sort of value, please consider subscribing to the channel and ensure that like button is firmly pressed. Here we go. Number one, if you've thought about taking an MSC cruise, you've probably seen Yacht Club floating around in the ether in terms of descriptions. Well, here is what the Yacht Club is. The Yacht Club is MSC Cruises' ship within a ship concept. Think of it as a luxury boutique hotel perched on the upper decks, with its own private lounge, its own dedicated pool deck, its own mini buffet and grill, its own restaurant, and even dedicated butler service. That's right, you get your own butler and you get a room steward. They call them junior butlers in this atmosphere. You get two dedicated individuals who take care of you around the clock. Well, you're technically on a large mainstream cruise ship with thousands of passengers. The Yacht Club makes you feel like you're part of an intimate VIP enclave. You get the best of both worlds. You get access to the larger ship's entertainment and dining. Nothing prevents you from going out and experiencing what the rest of the ship has to offer. Plus, your own private oasis in the Yacht Club when you want to escape the crowds. And I can't tell you how different these two venues are. Between the rest of Seashore and the Yacht Club, they feel like worlds away from each other. That is how well defined the experience is. Next up, let's talk about the Yacht Club embarkation experience, specifically at Port Canaveral, and just how different that is. You know, Embarkation Day can often feel like running the gauntlet, can it? But not in the Yacht Club. In fact, there is a dedicated Yacht Club tent at check-in just alongside the traditional security line. I was greeted by staff immediately after drop-off, and I was escorted to a private check-in area that was dedicated specifically to Yacht Club guests. Within minutes, I was holding a chilled welcome drink instead of standing in a snaking security line. And this ship had like 5,000 people on it. This terminal got filled up very quickly. However, the Yacht Club specific area was very well maintained, incredibly comfortable, filled with all kinds of snacks and beverages, and butlers serving you immediately upon your arrival into this zone. In addition to that, dedicated priority check-in happens here, so there's no massive terminal shuffle. In fact, you have a dedicated security line that you go through before you arrive to this area, so everything is expedited. And then somebody walks up to you, an employee will walk up to you and specifically go through the check-in process needed to get you onto the ship. Once all the paperwork is taken care of, then you can sit back, relax, and prepare for the moment that a butler will arrive to escort you straight on to the seashore and then ultimately to the Yacht Club. I noticed while we were waiting in this lounge area, the director of the Yacht Club was making his rounds in the terminal, meeting each and every one of us, checking in to make sure that we knew who he was and that he was there for us every step of the way. If there was anything we needed, we knew exactly who we could reach out to. When a butler arrived, they did explain to us exactly what would be happening next, and that is we would be boarding and going directly to our muster station. Now, we would be the first to board on the seashore this day. That apparently is what always happens with Yacht Club guests. You are the first to board before all 5,000 other people decide they are going to board. So a butler will escort you straight onto the ship into your muster area where they will scan off your muster station check-in, and then they will escort you via elevator right to the Yacht Club Lounge. The Yacht Club Lounge is kind of the epicenter of everything Yacht Club related. This is the kind of venue where everything happens, and certainly everybody likes to congregate morning, noon, and night. This is where you will receive welcome drinks and snacks, and where you sit and wait until your suite is available. They do check in with you multiple times during this period, and for me it was less than 30 minutes of waiting there in the lounge before my suite was ready. Once your suite is ready, then a different butler will approach and specifically take you to your suite, right? They will walk you hand in hand. Well, they won't grab your hand, but they will offer to take your luggage and any sort of support they can do to walk you to your room and explain everything about the Yacht Club along the way. Next up, the staterooms. Comfort with style for sure. I stayed in a Deluxe Interior Suite within the Yacht Club on the MSC Seashore. Now, I know what you might be thinking. An interior room doesn't exactly scream luxury, now does it? But in the Yacht Club, that is a different story. And here's why the Deluxe Interior Suite really impressed me. Very spacious layout that felt larger than a typical cruise interior, to be sure. Premium bedding and pillow menu that made for an amazing sleep. A far cry from lumpy mattresses I've had on other ships. Marble bathroom finishes with high-end toiletries, complimentary stocked minibar refreshed daily. And by the way, all you have to do is let your room steward know, your junior butler as they call them, all you have to do is let them know exactly what you'd like in that fridge. They'll restock your fridge with everything you want. In my case, that was Sprite Zero, Diet Coke. I'm a fan of those two. They made sure that I never ran out of those cans. Every single day it was restocked, and you could have anything you wanted in that mini fridge. Now, the butler service, yes, even in an interior suite, your butler is just a phone call away. My butler did make it into my suite by 5 p.m. that evening. Now, they're very busy on Embarkation Day. That's something that I should probably note here. Nobody got their specific butler taking them to their room upon embarkation because they're all trying to fill, I guess, a variety of roles on Embarkation Day. So they're stretched a little thin just to get everybody on board and settled. And then they come check in with you individually, right? So one by one, your butlers will start to knock on your doors and say, hello, let me present myself and everything I can do for you. And let me get your preferences, which is exactly what my butler ended up doing. He had me sit down while he came into the suite. He had an entire breakdown of services that he could provide for me. This is everything from an escort to and from locations on the ship. He can fetch me my room service if that's something that I want, which he, by the way, did at one point. He is there to serve me in any way that I need, and all I have to do is give him a call. He gave me his direct line. He said if at any point beyond midnight I needed support, just contact our dedicated concierge desk and somebody would be there for me. So the service was immediate, and he made sure that I had a great understanding of everything that he could offer me, as well as my junior butler, who does a lot of the room steward responsibilities. Sure, in interior space, you don't get the balcony views, but when you're steps away from the private Yacht Club pool deck, especially the lounge and the restaurant, I mean, it is hard to feel like there's any sort of setback or drawback to this. It's a nice compromise. And I have to say, I'm really proud that MSC decided to offer up an interior suite option here. This is something that I just assumed they didn't have until I started looking. And I was very surprised to come across an interior space allotted to the Yacht Club inventory, mainly because it doesn't seem like that would be something that would be luxurious, right? Well, this knocks about, I don't know, $1,500 off of the price that you would traditionally pay for a deluxe balcony suite in the Yacht Club. So it's a little bit more affordable for everybody, and that was kind of what I was looking for, especially being my first MSC cruise. I did not want to screw this up, right? I thought, I don't want to spend a fortune and be really disappointed, so let me see what the minimum buy-in is, and I will go for that. That's what I ended up doing, and this served me just fine. I have to also say, being in an interior suite, I think I've said this before in other videos, when I'm in an interior cabin, I tend to spend a lot more time taking advantage of everything else on the ship, which is really what I wanted to do in the Yacht Club. I wanted to take advantage of all of the Yacht Club amenities. I definitely did that, more of which I will talk about coming up. Let's talk about the Yacht Club Lounge and Bar. The private lounge did quickly become my favorite hangout. Open from morning until late at night, it is stocked with complimentary cocktails, wine, and champagne. I never saw a bartender not present here, and there was always a server in the lounge. Now, typically in the very early morning hours, there was usually one person. His name was Rafi, and he knew my drink order immediately. I mean, he picked up on that ASAP. These people are exceptional that work in the yacht club. They are known for their exceptional service, and they nail it every step of the way. But beyond him, shortly after sort of the morning gets moving, you will start to see more and more lounge butlers assemble to take care of the growing number of guests that enter the lounge atmosphere. Now, I have to say, as a yacht club guest, you will also receive the premium drink package on board MSC, and you can utilize that anywhere you go. Anywhere on board. It does not have to be in the yacht club. Any bar you go to, any restaurant you go to, go ahead, order up whatever beverage you would like. The lounge area, by the way, it sits in the very forwardmost location on the ship. Now, it sits right above the bridge where the captain is. And I know this because where I would sit, sort of on the wing of the lounge, I would stare right into the bridge, as a matter of fact. So it was very obvious to me that, oh, wow, we sit on top of the bridge. How cool. We get the view that the captain gets, which I thought was a really neat thing. But this space is kind of known for all of the entertainment in the evening hours. This is where all the special events for Yacht Club happen. And it's a place that has light bites throughout the day. So from breakfast pastries to evening canapes, this is the spot where you can grab some light bites to enjoy throughout your voyage. Live piano music in the evenings, as I was mentioning. Sometimes they will bring in individuals who have specialized musical skills, from saxophones to vocalists, really sort of contributing to that upscale vibe. I would say it felt a bit like a members-only club you stumble into in New York or London, except you're sailing in the Caribbean. Which I thought was a really nice touch. There's also an outdoor portion to this lounge at the forwardmost location of the ship, where you could go out and sit and enjoy the fresh air. About half of this exterior portion is dedicated to a smoking area. So if that is something that you are looking to take advantage of, realize you can do that on the exterior of the lounge. Next up, let's talk about the Yacht Club restaurant. This sits just above the lounge. So the lounge is a space where it sits beneath the restaurant, but it's all sort of this open air, very beautiful, wide range of window panels that go up and over the restaurant. And so it's this like two-level sort of divider that there is between lounge at the bottom, restaurant on top. So forget fighting for a table at the buffet or waiting for your number to be called in the main dining room. You don't have to do that here. The Yacht Club restaurant offers fine dining every night. No reservations required. Just show up. Show up, go in, they will seat you. On MSC Seashore, the menus rotated nightly. These highlights included seafood dishes, prime cuts of beef. Filet mignon was on every menu, every night. You could always get a filet if you wanted to. The house-made pastas, this is an Italian cruise line. Oh my goodness. I had the best lasagna of my life on board. I had to, the pastas on MSC are a revelation, I have to say, and the decadent desserts that could rival any land-based fine dining restaurant. You have so many options at the Yacht Club restaurant. They are always open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a sommelier at night is available for all of your wine needs. If that is something that you'd like to partake in, they are prepared for it. And you can also pair that with wine selections included in your Yacht Club perks. As I said, you get that premium package. You can drink whatever you want. You'll never look at main dining room the same way again. There was only one time where I stepped up, and I think it was a lunch period, where I came into the Yacht Club restaurant. They went to seat me and realized, oh my gosh, we don't have any more two-tops available. We only have the larger tables available. And during lunchtime, they kind of like split the restaurant. Breakfast and dinner are usually much busier, and therefore they utilize the entire space. But lunchtime, they kind of like split the restaurant in half, and so they only have a handful of servers on duty at any given time. It was during that one moment where they realized we don't have any two-tops available, where they sat me immediately regardless regardless. And I thought it was really funny. They sat me at a 6-top table because that was all they had that was open nearby until they could clear off a 2-top that had just left. And the maitre d' and the restaurant manager came over immediately and apologized like it was some major inconvenience. It all happened within, 3.5 minutes. I mean, there was no inconvenience at all, especially for how immediate the service always is. But they sat me down and started taking my order anyway at the 6-top, even as a solo traveler, which was kind of funny. And then the manager sat down at the table with me. He sat down at the head of the table, and we made a whole mockery of how it looked like we were at a conference room, and that there was some sort of meeting that needed to go on. So it was all in good faith. It was all very humorous and fun. And then they showed me to my 2-top table immediately. So all in all, the Yacht Club restaurant, without fail, delivered on the service, delivered on the exceptional dining. I have heard questions about whether or not you should go out and do specialty dining on board the Seashore, or you should just stick to the Yacht Club menu. I have to say this, I did both just because I wanted to experience both. I wanted to see everything MSC had to offer. And now in retrospect, I would think, probably didn't need to do that, right? Yacht Club restaurant has its own menu. As I said, it's very exclusive. And the food quality, I think, is exceptional and on par with those specialty restaurants, if not even a little bit better, right? So Yacht Club is willing to bend over backwards to accommodate you in any way that you absolutely want for the sake of your menu and any sort of modifications. You just need to let them know a little bit in advance and they'll do it for you. So you don't necessarily have to go out into those specialty locations in which to enjoy a specialty meal, because the Yacht Club is kind of a specialty meal every day at that restaurant, and definitely something that I would recommend you sort of abstain from. There is no reason to go to those specialty locations if you are involved in the Yacht Club. Plus, I look at it as kind of a waste of your benefit of being in that Yacht Club restaurant, right? I look back on my time and I think maybe I shouldn't have gone. It's just I spent money I didn't need to spend, but I am glad I got both experiences. Beyond that, let's talk about the pool deck. This is your private Oasis. This is so much bigger than I anticipated, and that is a huge positive. One of the biggest perks of the Yacht Club is the private Sundeck and pool area. You're not fighting everybody else for a lounger. There are more loungers than there are guests on board in the Yacht Club, and that, to me, made this so valuable. While the main pools on MSC Seashore were very lively, that is, of course, crowded. The Yacht Club pool was so serene with, like I said, plenty of loungers, no chair hogging wars here, no problems. In fact, there were whole sections of the pool deck that weren't even being utilized every single day. Sea day or not, it didn't matter. Whole sections were just empty. There is a private bar and grill. There's basically a buffet up here with snacks and drinks on demand, that grill on demand. You can ask for burgers, you can ask for chicken, you can anything. They will grill it up for you, but it is a bit of a mini buffet up here, and this is running from morning until late afternoon. So there is no grill buffet service here at night. That is strictly where you have to go to the Yacht Club restaurant to enjoy. But there is basically a running food service here on this sort of small scale buffet grill and bar area from early morning until late afternoon, including some tea options there in the late afternoon as well, with all kinds of pastries, teas, beverages that you can take for some late afternoon snacks. Also, jacuzzi hot tubs overlooking the ocean can be found here. They were almost never busy. They almost never had anybody in them, which I thought was kind of incredible. There's one at the very most forward location of the ship that everybody seems to forget about. And I think most people never even ventured that direction, just because there's so much space dedicated to the Yacht Club up here. And so I looked at that again as just a huge plus, major sell point, very positive in terms of what you get for the value of it all. It's the kind of space where you can actually hear the ocean breeze instead of the thump of poolside DJs. And that's something I also wanted to sort of touch on here. I did, in fact, go to the sail away party here on the MSC Seashore. I went down to the normal people deck, I guess we could call it, right, to go visit the rest of the ship, where everybody else would be going to their pool deck. And I went out to go see that sail away party, and it was wild, right? It was packed. Everybody was there. High energy, very intense. Lots of entertainment team members going crazy with their flags and their dance moves and getting everybody sort of in motion for a heck of a sail away party. And so it was a very interesting environment to go from this high energy, intense experience out on the traditional pool deck for the rest of the ship, and to go back to the Yacht Club pool deck here in the midst of all of that. And it was so quiet. It was peaceful. It was quiet. It was one of the most serene sailaways I have ever seen, as a matter of fact. You do have a lifeguard on duty here on the private pool deck, who is here for a majority of those hours to make sure that we are safe and well taken care of. And the servers on this pool deck are incredible. They come by multiple times, probably within 30 minutes. I got approached, 6 or 7 times. Anytime they see your drink is getting anywhere near empty, they're on it, and they make sure that you're well taken care of. They come by with their own little drink carts, to offer up some additional options in case, there was anything that you didn't want from the traditional bar. They would have some routine drinks that they wanted to provide to you. So very nice to have all of these options. And again, that service was incredible and never left you wanting anything. They stayed on top of absolutely anything you could be looking for or want. And they followed you around basically just to make sure that you didn't have any concerns, that there was always something they could do to take care of you or better your experience. Continuing on with that service experience, let's talk about the Butler and Concierge service here. Your Yacht Club experience comes with a 24/7 Butler and Concierge service. Think of it as your own guest service desk. This is all located within a couple of floors, right? So the entire Yacht Club is a handful of floors at the top, forwardmost location of the ship. Now, this is all behind glass. This is all behind big glass doors that you have to have the scannable, whether it be your ID card or the wristband that they provide to all Yacht Club guests upon arriving. That wristband will get you access in and out of the Yacht Club all the time, but nobody else is coming in, right? These doors are locked and these doors are secured 24/7, and therefore you really are completely sealed away from the rest of the ship. But if you need dinner reservations in a specialty restaurant, contact that concierge or let your butler know. They're going to take care of it for you. Want your favorite cocktail delivered to your stateroom at a specific time every night? You could do that. The people across the hall from me, they did that every single night at 10 p.m. They had a standing order and my butler would deliver it. They will take care of you. You want pizza at midnight every night? That can be delivered. Absolutely included. My butler even escorted me personally to the theater shows for the evening, and on one particular night when I went to the Butcher's Cut Steakhouse on board the specialty restaurant, on my first night, I said, I don't know where I'm going, and he said, let me take you. I will escort you personally. So that saved me the hassle of navigating through the packed decks, especially on a ship I'd never been on before. It's that little touch of white glove service, literally, they were white gloves, that makes the experience feel so special. My butler made sure I did not want for anything. He saw me absolutely everywhere I was at. I felt like the guy had a tracker on me or something. He knew where I was at all times, and he would always pop up just to see if everything was okay, if there was anything else he could do for me. He was tremendous, and a killer sense of humor, which made just a huge difference. Moving on, let's talk about the priority access perks to Yacht Club. This is another hidden benefit of the Yacht Club that I don't think enough people talk about. That's the priority access throughout the cruise. So a couple of different areas where you get some real privileges on board a very busy ship. Number one, the reserved theater seating for evening shows. Both shows, right? They usually do one in the 7 o'clock hour and one in the 9 o'clock hour. Both of these shows will have dedicated theater seating that are guarded by butlers in the Yacht Club section. Now, the Yacht Club section is at the sort of top back area of the theater, but I cannot tell you how valuable this was. I feel like the Seashore on my particular sailing was sold out because that capacity in the theater, it's minimal. I think there was like 800 seats, something like that. And on a ship that holds little over 5,000, as I've come to understand it, I think everybody was trying to get into these shows because I saw people standing many times in the aisles trying to find seats. So having this seating that was dedicated to us made a major impact on the ability to enjoy sort of the entertainment that was involved in the cruise. Now, I will say, as soon as the show begins, usually within 5 minutes of the show beginning, the butlers will then untether the ropes that sort of cordon off our section, and they leave. So they open up the section to anybody else that might be coming in a little bit later. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for allowing people to have an opportunity to see entertainment on a cruise. I think the one thing that irritates me the most, and this is outside of the yacht club in general, this is just cruising in general. One thing that really irritates me is when people are coming in 10, 15, 20 minutes into a show and bothering you to get up and move so that they could come in and take a seat. It's like you should have shown up on time like everybody else did. And then it just interferes with your ability to enjoy the show because people are constantly moving in front of you and getting in the way of you being able to enjoy your show. So that did happen, as a matter of fact, as like guarded and as reserved as the section was, sort of, I guess, leading up to each show. Like I said, within 5 to 10 minutes of the show beginning, the butlers disappear, the ropes get drawn back, and anybody can come sit with you in that moment. Now, next up is the priority disembarkation and embarkation at every port. This is a huge lifesaver on shore excursion mornings in particular. The folks will meet with you that are associated with the yacht club. Sometimes it won't necessarily be a butler. Sometimes it will be anybody that is representative of the yacht club, maybe a concierge or something like that, will come and meet with you at the lounge specifically. And they do this throughout the morning. They will come meet with you throughout probably a 2-hour period, right? They'll be there to make sure that you are escorted off the ship, that you have sort of this priority level disembarkation when you need it the most. Usually when everybody's trying to get off the ship, especially if it's a tender port, that's very much an in-demand type of experience, isn't it? Where everybody's trying to get onto a little boat to be delivered onto a pier or a location, in which case you are given the priority as a yacht club guest, and the escort will make sure of it. They will walk you straight to the front of a line ahead of anybody else. In addition to that, I think we know that when you're out traveling the world solo, it can be a truly liberating experience, but at the same time, there is plenty that could go wrong, and as my own adventures continue to grow more intense and exciting and stretch farther from home than I've ever been, look, I knew I needed to find some backup, and that's where Safety Wing's Nomad Insurance Essential came to the rescue. Designed for travelers as bold as us, it delivers coverage for travel and medical emergencies in over 180 countries, and you can start your plan even if you're already aboard. It's flexible and affordable. Plans start at just $56.28 for 4 weeks. You get coverage for hospital stays, medical treatments, lost luggage, delays, plus extra protections like adventure sports and electronics theft add-ons. In addition to that, they have live 24/7 human being support, and that means you're never stranded alone. Whether you're cruising solo or wandering the world, that one-on-one help, gosh, that can be a lifesaver. So next time you're on the move, on deck, or exploring, Safety Wing, they've got your back with flexible, budget-friendly peace of mind. If you want to take advantage of the same peace of mind that I did when I traveled for more than a month at sea, then you can find a special link just for you in the description. This might just be worth its weight in gold, and that is the private elevator access in the areas of the ship, even outside of the yacht club. So the yacht club has its own interior elevator, right? Its own dedicated elevator service that goes up and down through the floors of the yacht club. Like I said, I think it's like 4 different levels that the yacht club sits on. And so you have your own interior elevator that I never had to wait for. If I needed to use it, and I usually just take the stairs anyway, but if I ever wanted to use that elevator, it was always there within seconds and off I would go. Now, Where this gets really handy happens to be using your wristband, your Yacht Club exclusive wristband, to scan underneath the general elevators. Anywhere else in the ship, you'd walk up, you would type in the number of the floor you'd like to go to, and you would wait for the elevator to arrive. Now, I have to say this, on a ship with so many guests, those elevators took forever. I saw in many cases, timetables were quoted on the screens above the elevators, sometimes upwards of 5 minutes you would have to wait before an elevator ever arrived. And that's because I think they have so few elevators just in terms of banks. They have basically two, one more towards the middle of the ship, one more towards the front of the ship. And then on the very back of the ship, they have like two sort of rear elevators that don't service a lot of people. I think a lot of people don't assume that they're going to be of much benefit to them because they kind of are elevators that are more of a novelty. They look out onto the aft pool and the aft view of the ship. And so I think a lot of people don't utilize those elevators back there. So all the pressure gets put on to more of the midship and the forward elevators, and they get overwhelmed is what happens. So here's why the Yacht Club is so much greater in terms of value when it comes to these elevators, right? You have the opportunity, you don't have to, but boy is it nice to have this. You can scan your wristband underneath the keypad for these elevators. You scan your wristband underneath the keypad and suddenly it overrides the elevator system. You type in the floor you want to go to, it will send that elevator directly to you and it will not stop at any other floor, even if there are people calling for it on other floors. So suddenly you get a priority elevator sent to you. Again, that is like worth its weight in gold when it comes to a very busy ship, especially in those evening hours when everybody's looking to take an elevator somewhere and you need to go 14 floors, right? You need to go 14 decks. Boy, does that help out. So these perks save you a ton of time. And in cruising, of course, more time equals more relaxation. And finally, one of the biggest highlights of an MSC Seashore sailing from Port Canaveral is the stop at Ocean Cay MSC Marine Reserve, the cruise line's private island in the Bahamas. And just like on board, Yacht Club guests get the VIP treatment from start to finish here too. And here's how it works. You get escorted off the ship instead of waiting in long lines. Yacht Club guests are personally escorted off the ship and onto private trams reserved just for the Yacht Club. These trams will take you over to the opposite side of the island where there is what they call the Ocean House Restaurant. This is your private dining venue on the island as well, open exclusively to Yacht Club guests. Fresh seafood, grilled meats, crisp salads, and yes, lots of cocktails are served in a very calm, elegant, beautiful setting overlooking the ocean. Yacht Club Beach is also here right alongside Ocean House Restaurant. Forget scrambling for beach chairs. You'll be dropped off at a secluded stretch of sand reserved only for Yacht Club guests, complete with loungers, umbrellas, and an attentive bar service. There's a lagoon side to this as well as an open ocean side. So you basically have two beach options here at Ocean Cay, if that's something that you're interested in. It is basically an extension of the onboard Yacht Club experience, only with your toes in the sand. I think that's the key difference here. While the rest of the island buzzes with activity, the Yacht Club side feels like a private Bahamian retreat. And Ocean Cay is, by far, I think, one of the better private island destinations in the Bahamas right now. And that includes stacking these babies up against those other cruise lines. I think Ocean Cay has something very special to it. And not only that, you've got this extra special Yacht Club location woven in. For everybody else on board, they have to bring their own towels. You don't have to. Towels are provided to you. And all of that personal service extends directly out to this location as well. I even saw my butler out here. How cool is that? Even my butler was out here taking care of business and making sure that we had everything that we wanted. It is a very different experience than what everybody else is receiving on this island. And I will tell you this, at the end of the day, there is something very special that happens on Ocean Cay, and that is the light show on the lighthouse. That is something that is sort of the icon of this island, and it is breathtaking to see at night. I also caught a really stunning sunset here. I have to share with you also an insider tip. So not only did I have a great day at Ocean House and the restaurant and the private beach, but I returned to the ship, I took a shower, and because we were staying overnight at this location, which as I understand it, many MSC cruise ships do stay overnight because this is their island, so they'll stay all night. We did that. We stayed all night and we stuck around until noon the next day before we started sailing out again. So we had a lot of time on our hands, and so the gangway was open until like 11 p.m. that night. And so I got back on the ship, I took a shower, I think I took a nap that afternoon because the sun was killer there in the Bahamas. And then as night started to fall, I got back off the ship as breezes started to kick up and the sun started to set. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful time to be on that island, because most people were off the island by 6 o'clock and everybody got back on board for dinner. And with virtually nobody on the island, just a handful of people here and there. And I went out to the Lighthouse Bar, the bar located directly at the base of the lighthouse, got myself a drink and settled in for the Lighthouse Light Show. It was spectacular to see in person and up close, as well as that beautiful sunset that night. Highly encourage you, if you happen to be in this port until late at night or staying overnight, definitely take advantage of the sunset hours here. Get off the ship. Go enjoy yourself on this island during those later hours. It's breathtaking, and it is a memory for a vacation I don't think you'll ever forget. A few extra bonuses I wanted to make sure you were aware of. On day one, my butler did present to me a list of top shelf alcohol, and essentially what that list was a one-time gift option from the yacht club to me, the yacht club guest. So I could select from one of those options on the sheet and take it home with me. I decided to go with a bottle of red wine. There were a lot of really great top shelf items. I don't drink recreationally day to day anyway, so it wasn't really important to me to take home a specific, really expensive type of bottle of something, especially since the premium package on board allowed you to basically consume everything that you wanted to in the bar anyway. But it was a very nice gesture to be able to take a bottle of something home. Each night, not only was there a turn-down service, but there was always a chocolate, either on your pillow or alongside your bed, along with a bottle of water, just in case you got thirsty in the evening. In addition to that, every night at turn-down, there was also some sort of sweet treat that they provided to you in the yacht club that they do not provide anywhere else on board. Sometimes that was chocolate, sometimes that was a sort of candy, but it was always something sweet to go to bed with, which I thought was a very nice touch. And finally, I wanted to make sure that you knew you get access as a yacht club guest completely included with your fare to the thermal suite in the spa. All you have to do is drop by the concierge desk. I understand that on port days, this is not necessary, but on days where you are at sea, obviously the thermal suite gets sort of bombarded. You just need to make a reservation, basically. You just need to make sure that it's okay, that you can slide in there, and they will make sure that you have a time slot allocated to you. But on port days, it doesn't matter. You just walk on in, enjoy yourself. There are all kinds of great steam rooms, salt rooms, a thalassotherapy pool, even a snow room located in this thermal suite. It was a wonderful way to go and relax. There's also a hot tub that sits outside on an open deck attached to this thermal suite. Definitely an extra perk that you want to take advantage of. I almost didn't know about this until I think 2 days prior to departure, and then realized, wait a minute, I heard people talking about this. Is this something we get to do? Just wasn't referenced in any sort of literature. My butler didn't happen to mention it, so I confirmed it with the concierge, and they said, oh yeah, you get access to that too, so take advantage of it for sure. And when it comes to that pricing question of is the MSC Yacht Club worth it, the Yacht Club is, of course, first and foremost, a splurge compared to standard cabins. And I would say that MSC in general seems to be a tremendous value option when it comes to cruising, especially in North America right now. As MSC has kind of tried to make an impact on the American cruise market, I've noticed that their rates are far lower than most major cruise lines. And I think there's a reason for that. I think they are trying to lure over a big chunk of the American cruise market. And that's awesome. These ships are stunning. They're absolutely gorgeous vessels. They have so much to offer on them. And there's sort of a European elegance to the entire experience that I don't really think you're getting on any other cruise ship currently in the American cruise market circulation. And no doubt there are a lot of disenfranchised cruisers out there right now. Maybe those folks who are, not feeling like their loyalty is that respected anymore with those cruise lines that they have frequented over the years. Maybe they are looking for a different option. I would say as sort of a baseline approach, if you can get a balcony for a 7-day cruise that, clocks in at $1,100. I saw that on these ships. Oh my gosh, what a value. What a tremendous value that is. Now, there are different options that you can choose to sort of upgrade as you go. I think there's like 4 different levels, maybe 5 different levels of the MSC sort of pricing structure where you can add things to make your experience even more so. But like bottom basement pricing is really reasonable. Now, if you are pursuing the Yacht Club, I have to say this. I was shocked at how cheap this was by comparison of, say, the Retreat, right, over on Celebrity, or the Haven over on Norwegian. Those are small fortunes, right? Those types of experiences, those ship within a ship concepts, the same idea, are small fortunes. This is so much more of a value by comparison of those ships and those experiences that I have to say, I think that this might be the better value overall by comparison of those types of ships and what those ships are doing. So when you factor in all of this, I think this is where the value comes from, right? You get the all-inclusive drink package, right? You can use that anywhere on board, as I had mentioned. You've got your own personal lounge dedicated to only Yacht Club guests. That is one of the greatest little entertainment venues, privately held just for you. You get your own pool deck. You get your own towel service. You have your own staff that takes care of you around the clock. You have your own dedicated restaurant, your own private dining, your own priority embarkation and disembarkation. Dedicated butler service 24/7. Anywhere you need them, they will be there for you. You've got the private spaces, that sort of dedicated buffet area just off of the pool deck. It often compares favorably to booking a suite on other lines when you think about pricing. Even with a Deluxe Interior Suite, you still get the full Yacht Club experience without having to pay for the bigger suites or balconies. It is, I think, the best budget luxury option on the ship. It's also something you could take advantage of in the bidding for upgrades. So if you happen to book into, say, a traditional balcony type cabin on an MSC cruise, you will see the push on you to upgrade to not just suites, but also the Yacht Club. So they have traditional suites on board these MSC ships, but then there is the addition of a Yacht Club beyond that. And then you need to take that step up into Yacht Club where you get so much more. So if you can, I think, bid through the process that they have set up, you can likely save even more money by doing the bid to go from a traditional stateroom on board the MSC cruise ships to the Yacht Club experience. And if you just want to start with the interior, right, the Deluxe Interior Suite like I got, do that. Just try it out. I think you will be truly satisfied in the end. There is not another experience out there like this right now for this type of price, and it's very impressive, to say the least. And speaking of value, I don't even think I mentioned that you also receive gratuities included as part of this Yacht Club fare. In addition to that, Wi-Fi is included for up to 2 devices. Now, on MSC cruise ships, they have 2 different versions of Wi-Fi. You've got the browsing version as well as the streaming version. You get 2 devices covered under browsing in the Yacht Club. If you wanted to upgrade that, that will cost you a little bit more. I think it only cost me like $12 is what I ended up seeing. It cost me $12 to upgrade both of my devices for the entire cruise, an entire 7-day cruise. I upgraded to the streaming package for $12. So tremendous value by comparison. Obviously, I upload a lot on the go, so I need those faster speeds, and never once did it dip. I always had tremendous connection. I was very impressed with that. Now, I will share with you that when it comes to the total Yacht Club price, everything I paid for, everything that was included in my cruise, everything that when it comes down to the grand total of this Yacht Club 7-day Caribbean experience was a grand total of $3,700. So I think it was like $3,750 somewhere in there, but $3,700 is what this ultimately cost me for 7 days. $3,750, when I think about other ships I've been on, sometimes that is close to what I am paying for a standard balcony cabin for 7-day cruise on other ships, on other brands. But here, I get so much more through the Yacht Club that I thought, okay, I don't know that there is another value like this at sea. So if you're looking for true luxury and experience unlike anything you've ever had on another ship, I would say try the Yacht Club, go with this experience. MSC is doing something very special over here with this Yacht Club concept. And as I understand it, the C-class ships, so the Seashore, like I was on, Seascape, if you will, those types of ships have a very different Yacht Club than, say, the newer types of ships. So say the World America ship, the World Europa, it sounds like their yacht clubs are different because those ships are very different. So everybody seems to be of the mind that I spoke to on these C-class ships that the C-class yacht club is in fact superior to the new world class. Now, I haven't been on those world class ships, so I don't know. I just heard that they're a lot bigger and they offer up a lot more of an opportunity for more people to be in the yacht club. So perhaps that detracts from the experience. I'm not sure. But I keep hearing that the C-class ships are far better when it comes to the overall yacht club experience. So verdict is still out on that. From my perspective, I have to go experience it to be sure, but it's just something I was hearing routinely during my yacht club experience on the Seashore. Would I do it again? Absolutely. The hardest part, I think, was leaving that little slice of luxury at the end of the week. It was an incredible experience. I made so many friends on board. You kind of find like this community as part of the yacht club. And when you're out in the rest of the ship, you run into people who are from the yacht club and you see each other and, you know, you all are wearing the same bracelets. And so you kind of like meet up and become friends with these people over the course of 7 days. It is like an exclusive little family that you get to be a part of. And a pro tip for you, if you're considering the yacht club, I would say book early. These cabins are limited, especially the interior ones. And once you've, I think, tasted the experience, boy, is it hard to have to go back to regular cruising, as they would call it. You know, the yacht club, even if it is just a one-off experience to see it for yourself, I would encourage you to do it. It's one of those experiences I will never forget. I'm grateful to the Seashore staff and everybody that was a part of the yacht club on MSC Seashore, and everybody that bent over backwards to make my experience what it was. Nobody knew I was there. Nobody knew I was coming. Nobody knew I was filming. Nobody knew that this was going to be a review, and I paid for it all on my own because that is how I roll and make sure I get the best possible authentic experience on board. I have to say, for my first MSC experience, this was incredible. Have you ever leveled up to the MSC Yacht Club experience? Are you thinking about doing the Yacht Club in the future? As always, I'm here to answer your questions. I am here to help you make the best possible decision for you and your family. If you are looking to invest in the Yacht Club here in the near future, let me know down in the comments what you have in mind, and I will be happy to help. And if you're looking for more full-scale reviews of other cruise ships that I've done, I'd invite you to check out that video on the right, one of Carnival's new Italian-style ships, the Firenze, out of Southern California. And for additional cruise tips and tricks, check out that video on the left. We'll see you next time on The Solo Cruiser.